Actually recording, so I think we're starting. Hello, everyone, for
Hi.
joining for our November coffee chit chat. Finally figured it out after technical stuff. Um, yeah, so one thing that I think came up for me in Terrell this week before we get into it is we got an email from APAGS, actually, from the specifically the APAGS Psychology Student Leader Network. And I think one of the students that worked for them or representatives was just emailing us to tell us about it because they wanted our Division 45 Campus Representative Committee to be on there. Essentially, they're trying to get all the different leadership positions throughout APA and the various different divisions and have a very centralized location. So students that are interested in getting involved in leadership know where they can look and who they can contact. So they just wanted a basic description of our representative committee, in addition to just the student committee, which DESA is a part of. So we've emailed that information to them, but as a secondary part of that, they were interested in getting the emails of our current reps, which we have around 20 right now, I think, a little bit more than 20. I think definitely more than 20. So students that are interested in getting involved in Division 45 campus representative has people to call or contact. In addition, for reps to actually be able to interface with this leader network. And they were essentially just asking for everyone's emails so they could put it up on there. And that's something a little bit too personal for people. So we wanted to pass it by our reps first. So for everyone here, and then also we'll also send an email out to people seeing if they'd be interested. So I did some research in terms of looking what this network is. And I'm going to post in the chat. I'll send the link out to everyone. It is on the APA website, so it's legit, and they're just not asking for our emails. And I will share my screen as well. Share screen. Cool. So you guys see this webpage?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So this is the APAG Psychology Student Leader Network. I'm not sure how long it's been. It's definitely been here for a while. General mission statements promote student leadership within psychology divisions, connect students leaders within APAGs and connect them with each other, providing forums to address challenges. So essentially, it's a part of APAGs, and I think it's something that they've had for a while, where they are just getting a good gauge of what leadership positions students in APA are a part of. I think essentially what they're asking for us to be a part of this network, which is free, it's just we give them more contact information. This is probably what will be put up online. So it's just a PDF of a bunch of different people and emails. So it's really up to you in terms of whether or not you're interested in being a part of this network, and then also so you can interface with other people that might be in other divisions you're interested in. So obviously we're in Division 45, but if you're in clinical the Society for Clinical Psychology, and you want to know what students are there, you can use this. I'm not sure how up to date this is. So in addition to this, you can also be a part of their listserv. I think they have like a general listserv somewhere.
Yeah.
Let's see, to join, membership logistics, no fees. Yeah. So I'm looking at membership logistics right now. I'm not sure if this is actual responsibility that y'all have to be a part of it. Time commitment is what you make of it. Generally, reading and responding to emails would take less than an hour 1 month.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to come at this very unbiased in terms of what you want, what our reps would want to do in terms of getting linked with other student leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Any comments?
I think it sounds cool because it's a multidisciplinary opportunity to talk to other people in APA. Mm-hmm. It sounds pretty like low involvement. You're just putting your information up to talk to people.
Yeah. And I think hopefully you should be able to they might automatically add you onto their listserv, but you'll be able to see what they're talking about. If anything, it's another example of our coffee chit chats, except it's just a little bit more expanded. And you're not just talking to Division 45 students, which is nice, I think. So I'm making it optional for people. It's just I'm going to give it to, I'll give it up to our group members, and I'll send them the link, and I'll probably send them this little copy paste of how to join. and just have them email APAGs individually, I think. And there was this other person that I guess they should CC as well. So I'll leave it up to the group to see if they want to join. But otherwise, like we have put our description of the campus rep community committee, the campus representative program on their website, so they'll have that. That's something that I was thinking of kind of going into spring about like recruitment for next year. And I wanted to get a good understanding of how our current reps found our application, because I'm still a little confused in terms of how it was put out. So that's something that's on my mind.
It was hard. It was really, really tough to find.
Yep. And some people had the previous year's version. I'm like, we took that down. How did they find it?
It was hard to find, and I had to really search for it. And then I thought that I was within the like application time, and I wasn't. So some nice delineated information would be good.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to kind of come back to our reps, and that's helpful too. Because we just drafted the document and we sent it out. We just did not know where it was posted. So ideally for years to come, there will hopefully be a centralized location for where that information is. But now there's an additional place where at least the contact information is on our website. It will be on hopefully this website, or people can find it. Otherwise, what do you think? Is that an appropriate term of action in terms of just emailing reps to see if they want to join?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Nice. Otherwise, unshare, stop share. Cool. Otherwise, I mean, we could just use the rest of our time talking about rep stuff. And since this is your first time joining us, Tessa, wondering if you just would be interested in introducing yourself.
All right.
Like where you're at, and like program and a research interest too, so people that are watching will know.
So I'm Tessa. I'm at Sam Houston. I'm a third-year doctoral student in the clinical psychology program there. And I am interested really in culturally sensitive measures, so especially personality assessments, to be sure that they are functioning appropriately cross-culturally. But I have also been doing research on undocumented immigrants and DACA recipients in college. So kind of have some broad interests, but they're all diversity related.
Cool.
And
Awesome.
I just joined Division 45 this summer.
Right. Yeah. Well, welcome. Since you really haven't had a chance to interface with me or Terrell, I guess we'll introduce ourselves too. Would you like to introduce yourself first?
Yep.
Sorry, right as you're taking your drink.
Yep. No, sure. So hi, Tessa. My name is Terrell Taylor. I am currently, it's always weird saying what program I'm at. I did my first year of doctoral study at Louisiana Tech University, and I am now a first year student again in a counseling psychology doctoral program at the University of North Dakota. So transitioning institutions is quite a challenge sometimes. In general, my research interest is really in the areas of multicultural competencies and social justice advocacy. Right now, the advisor that I'm working with, we're working on a piece on looking at how colleges and institutions of higher education implement restorative justice practices. And I'm wanting to put a psychological spin on that, some of the outcomes of restorative justice practices. That's it. So, as Kate mentioned, I am currently a co-chair with the 45 program. And I'll let Gabe introduce himself, and I can come back and talk about some of the things that are specific chapters. Since Eileen's not on the call, I guess I can speak to some of the things that we've done as far as the programming.
And Nice, Terrell. And I'm Gabe. I'm also one of the program co-chairs. I'm currently at Palo Alto University, where we also have a program representative, Celeste Poe. I am currently a third year also in clinical psychology. My research interests are mainly on Filipino-American mental health issues, in addition to just general diversity related issues. I think I'm specifically, at least for dissertation stuff, looking into different types of discrimination and their effects on mental health, especially amongst emerging adults. I'm really interested in working with college students as a clinical population. So hopefully I'll be able to rein in a lot of my research and be able to focus on that. And I joined Division 45, I guess 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, maybe plus more. And it's been a great experience. We love it. It's been nice to kind of connect with other like-minded students to see the different stressors, but also the similar stressors that we're all going through as doctoral students. Yep. So that's always fun. I think one of my favorite things at Code is just looking at the externship process, like for external practicum from New York compared to California, and just being like, wow, I'm very grateful of my California system. Otherwise, Tessa, I was I would love to know what we can help you with today as a part of our coffee chit chat. If you have any thoughts that you wanted to share and just bounce off us.
Cool. So I just recently met with some faculty members because I'm still trying to set up the committee, and it seems like there are some roadblocks at my university. So to create an organization is actually pretty difficult. So we're trying to integrate right now with the Psychi organization that already exists and create events that way and kind of create some awareness of Division 45. I think a lot of people don't even know what Division 45 is, and to garner interest that way and to get undergrads involved. We also have a master's program, so we're thinking of getting some of the master's students involved as well. But I'm still working with administration to see how we can get like a formalized organization created on our campus.
Right.
Yeah. Do you know by chance what some of those barriers are with regards to like starting an organization? Maybe we can see what we can do.
Yeah. So every student organization, every new student organization that's created has to have very clear bylaws written out and like very clear documentation that they have. They also have to go through multiple layers of approvals, so it typically takes a while. And then they also have to attend semesterly leadership training, and the leadership training is about 8 hours, so it's one full day per semester, usually on a Saturday. So I didn't know if that was similar to some other Division 45 organizations across across like the country. Yeah, okay, you guys are shaking your head, so it seems like no. So we actually have the option of creating what are called department committees. They're slightly different than student organizations, and so I was going to meet with our department chair to see if that is an option for us.
Definitely.
Yeah, it seems like a lot.
Yeah, and you're at Sam Houston, correct?
Yeah.
Wait, no. Yes. Okay. Cool. So it's a pretty big school too. So I can imagine that's the reason why they have a lot of different checks and balances for establishing student organizations, which makes sense. I think I definitely think probably shouldn't say it's recorded. We definitely could use some student leadership training at my school just to understand how to be a student leader. It's like 10,000 different programs. But I think it's really great that you took a step back in terms of seeing, okay, should my committee be an actual student organization or should actually be a part of like faculty committees? And I think, that's a part of like being and adapting into your school system. So I'm going to zoom out and say, like, in general, what do you think your school or your program could use in terms of Division 45 or diversity, and like just kind of a diversity related committee, maybe even psychology based? What do you think would be helpful?
So I'm on my program's diversity committee, and we've been talking about how to not only improve diversity, like student recruitment and retention in our program, but also just broadly across the field. And so I think that's really an aim for our Division 45 chapter. We'll be integrating with the undergrads, exposing them to research, getting them to go to the Division 45 conferences, and giving them the opportunity to network with other faculty and students across the nation to kind of see what's out there. Because our undergrads are pretty green. They don't really know much about the field.
Research.
And so that is the route that I'm taking with this organization. So I'm trying to create like mentorship programs with the undergrads, so get master's students and doctoral students involved in mentoring undergrads, and then also introducing them to Division 45, getting them interested in Division 45, and then hopefully getting them to the conference.
So that's great. I think that's definitely in line with kind of Division 45's like mission statement, and it sounds like something that would be also very enriching to do, to get involved, like undergraduates involved too. That's something that I really don't have a chance to do at my university. So we're mainly small, mainly graduate school university. So definitely taking that chance to kind of get access to those students that most likely are interested. So you mentioned two different avenues. One, contacting Psychi, right?
Yeah, which I have met with the Psychi faculty members, and they're actually creating a diversity chair within their Psychi organization who will work with me. Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then the other being establishing, well, you're already a part of a diversity committee too, which is kind of something that you're inherently just doing as a campus representative too. So that could just already be in line with your role.
Yeah. And then to keep the Division 45 campus rep kind of alive on my campus, I've been talking to the diversity chair head, or the diversity committee head, who's also my faculty sponsor for Division 45 campus rep, and kind of seeing if those two goals can run parallel. So if we can have a Division 45 campus rep that is in the diversity committee, so they're kind of really integrated into getting, disseminating information, getting people involved, any diversity related things that our program has going on.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think maybe I'll speak to the process that we've had here at North Dakota. And I think that it kind of speaks similar to maybe some of the challenges that you're speaking about as well. So we initially started as a department committee that then extended into an organization. So
okay, that sounds familiar, yeah.
Yep. So basically, as far as what you're mentioning, as far as the bylaws, we had to go through and actually like name what the organization will be, have bylaws, and then select officers who would be a part of the organization. We had to have at least 5 members officially before we could be a university organization. So if you'd like, to look over our bylaws and maybe adapt that to create bylaws just to get a process started for the future, I definitely plan on sharing that with you. But yeah, that's how our process. We really stemmed from the diversity committee that was faculty led, and the faculty really supported us in serving basically as liaisons for the multicultural that we have now. But yeah, so
awesome.
The process it took some time to kind of get rolling, but I think that it makes sense to kind of extend that from the diversity committee that's already established.
Perfect. That would be really helpful. Because that's actually the avenue that we're thinking of taking too, is setting up as a committee within our department. And then as it expands and grows, we'll probably then switch to an organization. So if you could share that, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I do not mind sending it over to you by email. So I'll do that today.
Great, thank you.
So Tessa, this might be a little bit, I was just really interested in seeing Sam Houston, and yeah, I was just looking at your website and like seeing the diversity page on the clinical psychology program, and it just seems like you're already like well established. It looks like you have a pretty good base of what you can work from. I think you can use that solid base to kind of expand from, and maybe make it more specifically about like Division 45's like mission statement or whatever you think is important. I think it's just great that y'all have like a diversity committee in the beginning.
Yeah, we just made the diversity committee this year, yeah, it's only been for 1 year. But our program has just a very innate interest in diversity, and so I thought that Division 45 could run parallel with that and really add to the interest, and then also, as I was saying, get other students not in the program involved, so getting master's students and undergraduates involved. I'm excited. I think it'll work, but cool.
I could see so many different programs you could do on just like what is research, or introduction into like diversity research that you could do, that you just put on for undergrads, with all the time that all of us have, right?
Yeah, all that free time.
Yeah, all that free time. Yeah, just like seeing those websites really make you smile. So great work. What are some of the other barriers that you might have bumped into, I think?
Well, right now I've kind of had to wait to meet with the chair just because we have an interim chair to talk about this. But the chair coming in also has an interest in diversity and recruitment of diverse students. So I think meeting with him is going to be really exciting. But that was really it. There's all these departmental transitions, and getting it set up has been kind of challenging. But once it's set up, I don't foresee any issues.
Definitely. It's just all about getting kind of a running start too. And I think your role can definitely be, I don't know what I was going for that. Just flexible. I think maybe since I'm looking at your website and like establishing a student organization, I think that doesn't need to happen since you already have such an ingrained organization. And just using your programs, resources already, and networks to kind of make activities or different events that students can attend to, or even just initiatives. Yeah, just kind of being a representative of District 45 and saying that we are backing you. I just kind of want to validate and say like you're already doing a lot of like what we would want to see in a rep too. It seems in line with what you want to do too.
I really wanted to integrate it because it seems silly to have so many different standalone organizations that had very, very similar goals.
100%.
So why not get everyone involved at the same end?
So maybe your kind of interim role would be kind of like a liaison between all these different diversity organizations that are probably on campus, or even just psychology organizations too. That might be a really good place to kind of continue your work.
Yeah.
What are some ways that we could support you through all of this? Any resources that we could send, or any other guidance that we can get from, our student committee?
I'm not sure. This has been really helpful just to touch base with you guys because,
Definitely.
Carol has a pretty similar experience, and so I think just talking with other students that are involved in the process is helpful. You can compare experiences like that.
Yep,
definitely. We'll definitely try and send those resources out too.
Definitely. So I can talk a little bit about some programming. So this is the first semester that we've kind of rejuvenated the organization on campus, and we're referred to as multicultural and advocacy. As I mentioned, them from a department-led, counseling psychology department-led organization, and we are looking to branch out with other programs and other departments in the university. We have not had much success in that yet, but those are still working. This past Tuesday, we had a movie screening. We showed the movie. We held a conference. We showed the documentary Undocumented. And we had a kind of discussion panel after that, was showing different clips and talking just about immigration in the United States and what that looks like, and what we make out of our neighboring or community to kind of really support efforts of immigration policy reform. Talking about the terminology that we would use when we were referring to undocumented those correct terms instead of terms such as illegal aliens and just different implications of our language, the terms that we use. We had an okay turnout. I think that we had some issues. Some of the barriers that we had with this program was having to change the room like the day of, last minute, kind of challenge for us. We didn't have the turnout as we thought, as we hoped, I should say. But nonetheless, it's a really, really great event, at least to get us rolling.
Nice. Sorry. I'm sorry, Tessa. Is it okay if I mute you just for a little bit? Because I think there's some background noise on from the car. Sorry about that. Unless you had anything to add about no worries.
No.
Okay. Wait, if I mute you, can you unmute? So I'm going to mute you now. Can you unmute? Can you unmute? Nope. Okay. maybe you have to mute yourself.
I can mute.
God, sorry. Yeah, whenever you need to speak, just unmute. But wait, Terrell, could you repeat that in terms of the movie that you showed? Because that sounded really interesting.
Yep. So the documentary that we showed, it's called Undocumented.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, I'm not sure if you've seen it. It's basically just speaking about immigration in the United States. And just it's going through just the process of what it looks like to basically just come out as an undocumented immigrant, and some of the challenges that are in place as far as like policies and the political implications and things of the such. And I was saying we really spent a decent amount of time just talking about not just the process and what it's like, but also the difference in the impact that we can make with like just educating others on like the appropriate terminology that we should use when we're referring to undocumented immigrants, and just being open to the experiences of others. And then also just thinking, when we think about undocumented immigrants, I think we had part of the conversations on like what individuals' biases and assumptions are. And we kind of talked about those, and like how immigrants are really very diverse groups. And they're often a lot of times placed into different categories that aren't really helpful as well. So it was a very fruitful conversation that we had. I think it was really good for our chapter here to at least get the momentum running with some of the program planning that we have that we're hoping for.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page for the film. It looks great. So it sounded like there was some discussion based in the program too.
Yeah, there was some discussion based. So really how we did it, we chose specific clips within the documentary that we wanted to show, and then we basically had questions to generate some discussion based off of what we're seeing in the clips, just to kind of allow individuals the space to talk about their experiences and talk about their beliefs and their attitudes, and kind of like a healthy conversation around that.
So actually, you didn't show the full movie. It was just like clips of it. I like that. Yeah,
we showed clips. We didn't, unfortunately, have enough time.
Yes, 91 minutes.
The full thing.
Definitely. Oh, that's cool. So how was like organizing and advertising for these programs? How was that?
Yeah, I think it was great. We had a really great flyer. One of the students worked really hard on. I think one of the challenges just with the timing of things, we had to receive authorization from the publisher to show the film, and that took a little while. So it was a little unsure if it was going to work out or not, and then it worked out. I think that we would have something that I would like for us to do better is maybe planning the event a little more in advance. That way we can have more time to advertise, and thinking about that. I think we actually put the flyer out the week before the event. I don't even know if so I think that kind of resulted in not as much of a turnout as we wanted or that we hoped for. But just being mindful of those things as far as like time and working in advance. But nonetheless, it was a great event.
Nice. Yeah, something that I've learned from like advertising is like the earlier the better, and like using different avenues to advertise too. I think not a lot of, while physical flyers are helpful, I've learned that just like digital flyers sent out on listservs into different communities on campus has been pretty helpful. But it's hard. I mean, did you get a good spread of like students, like undergrad or graduate students?
I believe all the students who attended, outside of individuals who are already a part of our organization or our chapter, were undergraduates. I could be wrong. We had some faculty support as well, so some faculty members showed up.
That's great.
Yeah, so it was
cool. Yeah, no, I imagine those programs are very helpful, especially just educating on the language to use too. I think it's really great. Yeah, one of the barriers I think that I've seen in different programming is just the time, right? You know, of like planning an event. And while I think a lot of people have really great ideas of just like kind of following through and actually kind of planning the event out. Like it's tough. I don't know, depending on like who you're interacting with on campus, and keeping on track of like, you know, the different tasks that you have to do. I've definitely had both of those programs where it's either really well planned or just kind of almost there. Yeah. But I'm really glad that definitely you had a good turnout.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Were there any other, for other reps that might be listening, what would be helpful for them to hear from you in terms of things they should consider for when they're planning their programs? So timing.
Yeah, I would say timing. Timing is probably the biggest factor. And then, like I said, one of the things that a challenge that we ran into that we weren't necessarily prepared for was just making sure we had authorization to show the documentary from the publisher. So the copyrights and going through all of that and making sure the logistics of those things are worked out in advance. We wanted to use a room inside of our student union to show the film. And in order for us to reserve that room, we had to show that we had permission to show the film that we were wanting to use. So I think that may look different by institution, but that was a specific challenge that we ran into that we weren't necessarily prepared for.
Interesting. Yeah, because I've been to like different movie programs where I don't think they had to get permission from the main publisher, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something that I guess not a lot of people would consider. I'm glad they got back to how long was the turnaround rate for getting permission?
I want to say it was probably maybe a week and a half or so.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for about that long. But other than that, I think, we had faculty support. So the program actually supported us by providing pizza and drinks for everyone. They gave us a budget and said, we'll provide this if you stay within the budget. So that was good. And yeah, I think that just working out the logistics as far as timing, advertising, finding the space, and recruiting the students to show up are probably the big things to focus on. I think we'll plan to do something again in the springtime that's around, maybe if not a movie screening and discussion, it'll be something similar.
Especially, I know food is definitely a rating for a lot of students too. Food and then advertising. That's always important. Tess, I'm not sure if you had any comments.
I don't, but we were actually planning on showing a documentary through our program, and so I'm glad that Terrell brought it up because I could also use Division 45 and kind of bring it to undergrads as well. We were planning on watching a documentary that we saw at the National Latinx Psychology Association called Tal Como Somos. You're nodding your head. Do you know of it?
Yeah.
It's actually about the intersectionality of being undocumented and queer or LGBT, and it's available on our library website. So we were actually just going to show it in one of our clinic rooms that has a projector, but I think that kind of broadening that and getting some other people involved would be really interesting. So thanks for bringing that up, Cheryl.
Definitely, no problem.
Yeah, and then it's like using since you're a part of like a diversity committee already, see if you can use any of the resources to rein in food for people to just come into, and be food is always helpful. Terrell, I was actually wondering, in terms of the media materials that you use for advertising, I wonder if you're comfortable sharing that with the group too, because I'm sure other people would love to do kind of like movie screenings, and just kind of using that base to help for advertising.
We had a flyer one of our students put together, and I don't mind sharing.
Yeah, we also, so the Google Drive that I've sent out to people, we also have a lot of different images that people can use, mainly kind of at the moment we just have where's Division 45? We have the Division 45 symbol or icon essentially. So if you want to put that on your programs to say, hey, this is a Division 45 recognized event, that might be something that you're interested in. I'll have to sign it again. I'll do that later. So for those of you that do make flyers that either are watching now or in the meeting, we do have a lot of different images that you can use for creating that. So you don't have to kind of recreate the wheel whenever you do it. But also if you have students that are going to do that for you, then that's fine too.
Right.
Yeah. Otherwise, on my campus, our Division 45 program or whatever representative on our campus, we held a multicultural training award ceremony essentially for all the different externship or external practicum places in our area. and awarding the different training directors that were nominated by their trainees for having like very strong multicultural development or multicultural training or emphasis. So it was a really good chance to kind of bring up a lot of different current training sites in our area in California together for one student's network, and then also for Palo Alto University to kind of give them a chance and kind of recognize their intense training efforts too. So it was a really great place to kind of hold a conversation about, you know, training, like clinical training specifically, to network with different training directors and to also kind of have some really great conversations. I think those types of environments, we really don't get a chance to kind of interface with clinicians on that level. So it was very exciting to do that. As a part of one of my other organizations, in addition to Division 45, I'm also the president of our Asian American like psychology student organization on our campus. And one of the cool programs that we're doing, because we're mainly a psychology graduate school campus, is that we are recruiting a experienced clinician in the field, specifically with Asian Americans, and having them come in to talk about a vignette that we're going to give them and just see how an experienced clinician actually conceptualizes a client. Because we really don't see that in class. We kind of have to do that ourselves while we're learning from our teachers. We've never actually seen a clinician actually talk about how out loud what they would do with a specific client. So we're in the midst of planning that. But for those of you that are interested in doing programs that are related to diversity, but specifically more clinically oriented, that might be something that could be interesting. Like, right, just you get an experienced clinician to come in, talk to fellow graduate students about, this is how I would conceptualize this case. So that's going to be in January for us. So I'll definitely update you on how that goes. I'm really excited about that because as someone who is a training clinician that is definitely not an expert in anything yet, it would be great to see, you know, the end goal, like, oh, cool, that's what a clinician would actually do at some point. I will have to send that idea out to people, because I definitely think it would be great to kind of see that replicated across different disciplines.
I agree.
Yeah. Otherwise, I think that's pretty much it on my end. Are there any other kind of committee questions that people have or updates?
Not necessarily. I do want to ask this, Tessa, or as well as you, Gabe, do either of you plan on attending MCS?
It's good to know. At MCS, right? Right.
Yes. MCS.
I unfortunately am not.
Tessa, do you plan on attending NMCS? I couldn't hear.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll just say this anyway, just so it's out there, just in case some of our later reps do watch this. But just a reminder about the Links and Shoulders events that's on Wednesday. So it's Wednesday, January 6th from 12 to 1:30. And if any other reps who are not watching this or any individuals interested in general, I will be there. So that'll be just a good time to have a meet and greet. If you are there, then, you know, please reach out and let me know, and maybe we can make an introduction and meet in person at the Links and Shoulders event at NMCS.
Could you say that information again? I'm going to type it down so I could send it out to people. So Wednesday, January 6th.
Wednesday, January 6th. So that's the first day of NMCS, and it's going to be from 12 to 1:30. And then the host location for the conference is at the Sheraton in Denver downtown. Actually,
so there was a Links and Shoulders event, during APA this year, but I was unfortunately unable to attend. Could you actually describe what that is? Because I know Jason put a lot of effort into planning it and like advertising about it too. Could you describe for those that don't know, like me, about it?
Yep, definitely. So basically the Links and Shoulders events is geared towards student leaders and student mentoring opportunities at the conference, where students are allowed to basically sit and kind of engage in conversation and discussion, kind of like as a, the phrase that's used is like a speed dating format, where you're able just to sit and connect with others with regards to like mentoring and topics that you're interested in. Just having a process and of support through that. So like many brief mentorship experiences with individuals around a table format. So switching from different tables and being able to connect with other students and other mentors who are involved with Division 45.
I'm now kicking myself in the shins for not going to that. That sounds awesome. Have you been to one of those already, or
Be my first.
not? Oh, cool. Okay. So when you do go, like whenever we do come back, maybe in January, it would be great to kind of hear your experience. And I definitely, for reps watching, that have spent, what are we at? Like 45 minutes? That have spent 45 minutes watching this. I definitely want them to know your experience, and hopefully I'll be able to advertise about this, because I think there's a couple of reps going. If anything, there's definitely people from the student committee going. I know Tessa will be there, I think.
Yes.
So we will definitely want to advertise about that. Yeah, it sounds great. Man, I should have gone. Okay, I will definitely advertise about that. We can have a conversation about that later too. I think on the note of conferences too, it would be great to kind of email out to see what reps, like what conferences most reps are attending too, because there might be some general, which crossovers were, while, Terrell and I might not be there, reps might be able to interface and just kind of talk to each other. I'm trying to figure out how that would work. And maybe I could just send an email out of like, if you're attending a conference anytime soon, let us know, an email. But there's got to be a more formalized way about that. But with the main objective being connecting people at these conferences, hopefully there'll be a system in place that we can do that in.
Definitely.
Yeah. Otherwise, so our next meeting, I'm being mindful of the holidays coming up, and I don't want us to have a meeting during December because people are doing different things. They most likely are finished with their semesters. So I'm thinking our next meeting, for those still watching, and then also Tessa, we will most likely have it sometime in January, which I'm thinking actually, I don't know, we'll decide this now. What do you think, before NMCS or after would be better? Because I feel like before NMCS is still during holidays with like New Year's, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, knowing my schedule,
Probably
after NMCS would probably work best.
makes sense.
Yeah, I'll actually only be home for one weekend before
Yeah.
NMCS.
Holidays are important. Rest is important.
Yes.
So maybe sending an email out sometime during the holiday break to kind of remind people, and then maybe our next session of Coffee Chit Chats for the spring semester will start post NMCS in January, February, March. And I think we'll send out a doodle to see if there's different dates that people are interested in for our Coffee Chit Chats. But I think in general, Saturdays or the weekends seem like the best-ish time. I think we'll just have to be more flexible around the time. Any comments on that before we end? Thanks for joining, everyone. Tessa, good luck with the rest of your semester. Same with you. Terrell, I finished yesterday because of smoke.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm still at my clinic. When do you finish, Terrell?
I finished on the 10th, actually.
On the 10th. Okay, cool. So good luck. Good luck to y'all.
All right. Well, I will touch base
Yeah.
and speak with you all soon. Tessa, thanks for joining the call, and have a good holiday break, and we will reconvene in January.
Thanks, everyone.